All right, so the day is finally here. The sequel of all sequels, Hollow Knight Silksong, has finally released. This is a game that I feel like everybody in just the gaming, ecosystem has been joking about, has been talking about. It's been highly anticipated to the point of like meme worthy. Um, I don't think anyone even expected to ever play this game, to be honest. I think it was one of those things that um, just kind of became a running gag, whether or not it was going to release or not. But here we are on release day, Hollow Knight Silksong on all platforms. I kind of just want to talk about, I guess, everything that like led up to this. And then just I guess the overall game, Hollow Knight Silksong is here. Now what? Like what do we do? Reviewers can't review it yet, because obviously there was no review units out, there was no pre-order available. It's pretty honestly very very um interesting, the story of, I guess, this game. I guess not the whole story of it, just like in general this last like lead up to it. Definitely uh unique as far as the way games release. Um, so a couple weeks ago they announced the date for Hollow Knight Silksong, September 4th. No one really knew the price of it. No one really knew um, pre-order information. Um, Team Cherry did announce that they wouldn't be sending out any review units just because they said pretty much they think it'd be unfair if games journalists or game reviewers got the game prior to like their personal backers. So I guess I understood that. There was kind of a small controversy as to like people thinking it's they should be review units, that way people know whether or not to buy it or not, which I always thought was kind of a weird take. I mean, it's Hollow Knight Silksong. Like, Team Cherry made Hollow Knight, and if you played Hollow Knight, I think you kind of knew what you were getting into with Silksong. At least me, like I wasn't really, you know, on the edge of my seat whether or not I was going to buy this game or not. I knew for a fact I was going to buy it. I was curious about the price tag though. Them not putting a price made it very interesting. The original Hollow Knight released at $15, and that was, you know, almost a decade ago when that game came out. And game prices have changed, gaming has changed completely, especially within the indie market. um, there's a lot of indie games that sell for $30, $20, $30, sometimes $40. So I was kind of curious with how much clout they had built up, how much guaranteed sales they were gonna get. How would they kind of ring it? Would you ring it in a low price? That way, you get as many people buying it as possible. Um, or do you go as expensive as you can, and people are gonna buy the game because it's Hollow Knight Silksong. Um, so they went with $20, and I think that was really really cool of them. It's a $5 increase from the original Hollow Knight, which I mean we knew there was no way they were gonna go $15 again. Like, this is a hotly anticipated sequel. Um, so then putting it at $20 though makes it like pretty much a guarantee buy for damn near everybody. I think um when I saw the price tag, like I wasn't shocked, but big round of applause for Team Cherry for not getting too greedy with it as far as like being able to milk it. Like, they could have easily charged $40 for this and people still would have bought it. But them making it $20 shows, one, how much faith they have in this game. I think how much respect they have for the community that's been waiting for this game. Um, I think Team Cherry, didn't want to cash grab it. Not that this game would be or anything like that, but they definitely didn't want to take advantage of the anticipation. And instead, I think they have all this good like PR with the fact that they're not gonna send out review units because they want to respect the gamers. They want the gamers to be able to play it first. They want as much people to play it as possible, so they put it at a low price tag. Um, there was an interview where the director of the game was talking about how $20 seems like very little in US dollars, but in other countries $20 is a lot. So them pricing it that makes it affordable for most people around the world. And that is a very non-American studio way to answer the question. I think that is a very global approach. And it's just again, it's really really cool to see that Team Cherry, after all the success of Hollow Knight, kind of still feels like Team Cherry. You know, obviously they've learned lessons. They've gotten better at game design. They gotten better at how they kind of handle things. And a lot of that shows when we finally play the game. But before we get to even playing the game, we get to the morning of, right? I think a lot of people woke up early to download the game. I woke up, it was like 7:20 when I started trying to download this game. So I was trying to download it on a Nintendo Switch 2, and you know, to my surprise, the internet kept crashing. Well, at least thought it was the internet kept crashing. So I tested my internet connection. It wasn't that. Turns out the eShop was failing. It was crashing because of the amount of people trying to download this game at once. So I think we like four tries to download it. I had to like reset the Nintendo Switch a couple times, and close out the app. But once I got into actually buying the game and downloading it, smooth sailing. But I was hearing, after the fact that tons of people couldn't download the game because of the crashing. Tons of people on Steam were crashing as well. So again, super huge for an indie game to just crash, servers like this. I mean, I guess it should have been anticipated, but it is one of those type of things that is really, really cool to see that no matter how bleak I think gaming seems these days, that we have something as cool as a really small development team developing a sequel to a highly anticipated game, and it's that that anticipated. It's kind of one of those things like online you hear about how many people actually want to play these games, but how many people actually go out and play these games. So hearing stuff like that sounds like this game is everything the fans have been talking about. The fans have been saying they want to play this game, and they're coming out and they're showing off for it, and that's super super cool, and I'm very very happy with that. Now, finally playing the game. I'm 5 hours into Hollow Knight Silksong right now. I've kind of been playing it like almost nonstop since like I finally downloaded the game. um and I think it's exactly what we all wanted it to be. It's Hollow Knight, but it's, smoother, it's silkier, it's super cool. I love Hornet as a character. Um, I definitely like and missed the ambience that Hollow Knight brought. I think a lot of games, try to go to like match that Hollow Knight type of, vibe of loneliness and darkness. Very, very, not obviously not exclusive to Hollow Knight. Just kind of a trademark of Metroidvanias is that they're very, very lonely. They're all about exploration. And Hollow Knight Silksong definitely stands true to everything that Hollow Knight did, and that Metroidvanias do. Um, it's one of those things that the game I felt like almost unabashedly does not want to hold your hands through a lot of things. I felt like almost even quicker than Hollow Knight was, that this game challenged me very, very early on. Not necessarily that the game itself was that hard, just like the environments, the enemy varieties, trying to remember how to play this game. Um, Definitely, there wasn't a whole lot of learning curve time. It was definitely kind of just go and go, and it really ramped up really, really quickly. As far as the enemies I was facing, you encounter your first boss. I want to say within the first 5 to 10 minutes. Get lost as quickly as ever. So I remember just the amount of times I had to backtrack and look around and remember where I dropped my I guess not souls in this game, but wherever you drop your leftover coins, etc. Um, so just stuff like that I felt like this game jumps immediately to what I think we all remember Hollow Knight as. I think when you first get into Hollow Knight, the first game, there's definitely like a slow build up, and I feel like this game hops into it so so fast, which is really cool. That's something that I appreciate them. I think the director, development team, Team Cherry in general, they understand that people playing Hollow Knight Silksong are, probably most likely have played Hollow Knight. They're not really, assuming you haven't played it. They're assuming you've played the game, which is cool. My only, I guess, immediate, like, I don't want to say hurdle, but kind of noticed a little bit of, s- friction is I feel like there's always that part of the Metrovania games where Like when I remember Hollow Knight, I remember all the abilities I had, all the different movement options, etc., etc. But you kind of forget how it feels in the beginning of Metroidvanias when you don't have all your skills, you don't have all your weapons. You're kind of bare bones at the moment, and you kind of have to build that stuff up. That is one of the things that I don't know why was jarring to me. I think just because again I've waited so long to play this game, and I've uh, I guess imagined how it would play, and it definitely plays the way I would imagine it to, except for the fact that I don't know. I thought I'd have more skills off rip, which again, it's fine. Like that's what Metroidvanias are, is you build yourself up. So that's the only thing that I noticed that was kind of weird. Um, but yeah, overall, I mean, like this game is everything I think people wanted it to be. You know, it's Hollow Knight and then some. Um, the world is just as lonely. The music is just as ambient. The enemy variety is amazing. Like within the first 5 hours, the amount of enemies and bosses that you encounter is really really impressive. Um, so I'm just excited to see, how long this takes, what, I see, the rest of the gaming community kind of experience and play and what everyone's thoughts are on this game. It's just really cool to see. I'm glad that we can all kind of get together and share our moments with this game. So definitely looking forward to what everybody else, says about this game or finds out about this game. And obviously like huge kudos to Team Cherry. Like building a sequel to something as highly anticipated as this game is and making it land and making it being celebrated as well as it was um is a very 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 hard thing to do, and I think they nailed it on all fronts. I think they handled the PR amazingly, and I think just in general, like hats off to this development team. I think this is an indie team that you know, it might take another 8 years to develop their next game because of the way they like to develop games, but we know it's going to be worth it. I think they prove that they're not just a one-hit wonder with Hollow Knight Silksong. I think they prove that, you know, they 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 know how to make quality games that are worth the wait. So, anyways, those are all my thoughts on the game. Just kind of this whole build up. I look forward to playing and beating this game. I'll probably have a review whenever I do beat it. That being said, like this is the type of game like there's no rush. I want to just take my time and play it as I play it, and I'll beat it whenever I get across to it. Anyways, let me know down below what you guys' thoughts. Remember to like and subscribe, etc. And I'll see you guys in the next one.